Dear student, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course of philosophy. I am Amreen Khan. Today we will talk about the branch of philosophy, epistemology. Today our learning objective is what is epistemology, type of epistemology, source of knowledge and validity of knowledge. So, first of all, we discuss what is epistemology. So, epistemology is the Greek word episteme, means knowledge of science, or logos means the theory of knowledge. The branch of philosophy concerned with the nature, scope of knowledge, how the knowledge is related to truth, belief and justification. So this means that the epistemology is the production of knowledge. According to the James Frederick, epistemology is a skepticism about the different knowledge claims. This means that the epistemology is the theory of knowledge. Specifically, epistemology deals with the nature, source, limitation and validation of knowledge. Epistemology explains how we know what we claim, how we find out what we wish to find out, how we can differentiate truth from false. Now we will discuss the types of epistemology. There are three types of epistemology: personal knowledge, procedural knowledge, propositional knowledge. Now we will discuss these types one by one. So what is personal knowledge? The first kind of knowledge is personal knowledge, or a knowledge by acquaintance. This is the kind of knowledge that we are claiming to have when we say things like I know. This means that the personal knowledge is sense to do with the familiar with some things. For example, in order to know Amy, one must have met her. In order to know the fear, one must experience her. In personal knowledge, the word now is being used to refer the knowledge by acquaintance. So, the importance of personal knowledge is the personal knowledge does arguable involve possessing at least some propositional knowledge. So, the personal knowledge involves more the knowledge of proposition, no matter how much you tell about Amy, no matter how many facts about her to learn, if I have not met her in the sense required for a personal knowledge. So, the personal knowledge is the learn from self-experience, things you discover by yourself, or individual knowledge. So the personal knowledge involve come to know a certain number of proposition with the help of experience. What is procedural knowledge? The second kind of knowledge is procedural knowledge, or a knowledge how to do things, people who claim to know how to drive a car. So simply they are not simply claiming that they understand the theories or activities involved in driving a car. Rather than they are claiming that actually possess the skill involved and that they are able to do things. For example, they are all the propositional knowledge without actually know how to drive a car. They actually learn what is the accelerator, where is the brake, where is the function of handbrake. So they learn how to apply all this theory when they have to be learn the driving a car. For example, like a toolbox, it include facts, skills, procedures, algorithms or maths. So the procedural knowledge of how to perform some task and it focus on the way measured to obtain a result. What is propositional knowledge? The third kind of knowledge, the kind that philosophers carry out about most, is the propositional knowledge, or a knowledge of facts. When we say things like I know that the internal angle of the triangle add up to the 180 degree, or I know what it was you that ate my sandwich. We are claiming to have a propositional knowledge. So the propositional knowledge refer to the fact, no direct acquaintance with someone. Knowledge, the such and such cases is depend upon the fact. For example, I know that the earth orbits the sun. I know that I had breakfast this morning. I know that I am studying philosophy. For example, someone reading a manual of computer book. They are memorizing the procedure, not applying in actual. Although there are several different types of knowledge, the primary concern of epistemology is propositional knowledge, and this is the knowledge of fact, knowledge that such and such in the case. So the knowledge is depend upon the belief, truth and facts. There are theories involved in a knowledge. There are two main theories involved in a knowledge, that is a tripartite theory and rival theory. Let us discuss these theories one by one. What is the tripartite theory of knowledge? There is a tradition that go back as far as Plato that hold that the three conditions must be satisfied in order for one possess the knowledge. This account now as the tripartite theory of a knowledge analysis. Knowledge are justified through belief. The tripartite theory says that if you believe something with justification and it is true, then you know it, otherwise you do not know it. So this means that the tripartite theory must justify three conditions. They are justified with the help of belief, with the help of truthness and with the help of strong justification. Means belief is true with the justification of a strong evidence. So these three conditions are the fundamentals of tripartite theory, that are a belief, truth and justification. What is belief? The first condition for knowledge according to the tripartite theory is belief. Unless one believes a thing, one cannot know it. This means even if something is true and one has excellent reason for believing is that it is true, one cannot know it without believing. It is knowledge quite clearly require a belief. Means something true is depend upon the strong belief. Without strong or excellent belief, they cannot believe on the knowledge. So the knowledge belief is depend upon the truthness. What is truth? The second condition for knowledge according to the tripartite theory is truth. If one know a things, then it must be true. This means that the strong belief is depend upon the justification. So the justification is depend upon the sincere belief. Sincere belief is depend upon the natural reality. So the reality is must involve in the knowledge. So the knowledge is real, then there will be a truthful knowledge. Third type is justification. The third condition for knowledge is justification. In order to know a thing, it is not enough to merely correctly believe it to be true. One must also have a good reason for doing so. So the lucky guesses cannot constitute a knowledge. So the lucky guesses is require a strong justification, strong facts, strong procedures. Now we will discuss rivalry theory. The rivalry theory require absolute certainty opposed to a belief and opinion. So the rivalry theory is depend upon belief and opinion, and opinions are different from each other. So most of the time the rivalry theory is creating a more doubts in a knowledge, but they are justified with the help of a truths and a belief and a strong arguments. Sources of knowledge. Epistemology is the philosophy that study the nature of knowledge in a particular, and it is the foundation, scope and validity of knowledge. Traditionally, it is divided into three sources: rationalism, empiricism or pragmatism. Now, let us discuss these sources of knowledge one by one. What is rationalism? What is rationalism? So, the rationalism is a epistemology position in which the reason is said to be a primary source of all knowledge, or a superior to the senses. This means those who assert that by reason alone we cannot discover a knowledge theory, that the reason is the source of knowledge. So this theory of knowledge, or a source of knowledge, is called deduction. It distinguishes real knowledge from a more opinion. In the rationalist view, that the real knowledge is based on the logic, law, method, and the reasons. So in general, the rationalists believe that the abstract reason can be produced undeniable. Absolutely, the certain truths about a nature exist and the whole of reality. So these truths are called prior idea because they are discovered independently for experience without empirical observation or experiment. So the rationalism is depend upon reason. So knowledge is based on the reason. So the rationalism require a general knowledge is must certain. The best example of the real knowledge the rationalist holds the mathematics. Mathematics based on a reason, that a maths knowledge is obtained entirely by reason that we should use to understand the universe. So there are some arguments regarding the rationalism. The first argument of the rationalism is the rationalists must argue that we possess at least some innate knowledge. This means that the knowledge depend upon experience. The knowledge depend upon experience, and there are something that we know. We at least possess some basic ideas that are helpful for arguing, that are helpful for initiating the concept. So for example, we have to be develop a something, so we require a basic knowledge. Second, the rationalists might argue that there are some truth that thought not know innately can be worked out independent of experience of knowledge. So this means that the knowledge is come after the experience. Without the experience, they cannot know about the truth of some things. So the truthness or reality is come time to time with the help of experience. So the knowledge is come, and knowledge will be improved through the experience. The third, the rationalists might argue that there are some truth that, though grounded in a part in the experience, cannot be derived from a experience alone. This means that the rationalists believe on a aesthetic truth and truth about the conscience. For instance, some two people may observe the same object through the research contradictory view as the beauty or a ugliness. This shows that the aesthetic qualities are not present to us by our sense, but rather are our into the experience by the reason. Similarly, we do not observe quotations. We merely see event followed by the another. It is the mind, not the word, that provide us with the idea that former event causes the latter. It means that the rationalism is depend upon the different views, different ideas, and different experiences regarding the objects. Empiricism, that knowledge arises from sense of experience. Those who assert that we obtain knowledge slowly by our senses. Through our senses, we can acquire knowledge. Some philosophers think that the particular thing seen, heard, and touched more important, the examination of a particular facts. This means the empiricism is the theory that origin of all knowledge is sense of experience. It emphasizes the role of experience and evidence, especially the sensory perception in the formation of the idea, and argues that the only knowledge humans can based on experience. So this means that the empiricism is depend upon innate knowledge, or innate knowledge is come with the help of experience. For example, when we are born, we are a empty mind. Later on, we are know about the things with the help of information, or information is come through experience. There are three kinds of empiricism. The first one is a classical empiricism. Classical empiricism is characterized by a rejection of inborn knowledge or a concept. So this means that this knowledge is come with the help of experience. Without experience, we have a no knowledge. Whenever we want to know something, so we can get information when we are experience it. This method is induction of philosophers who feel that the knowledge is required in the way are called empiricists. Tabula rasa, the idea that before sense experience, the human mind is empty tablet. A posterior, after experience, the idea that we cannot know until have experience through the senses. So, without any idea, we have no sense. When we experience this, that the sense will be generated, the innate idea will be created. So this is called classical empiricism. Radical empiricism. It refer the most radical form empiricism hold that all of our knowledge is derived from the senses. So the radical knowledge is derived from senses, means the verification principles, meaning statements are essential for any knowledge. For example, if the knowledge is changed, they have required the verification, logical statements and evidence that will come that create a sense that the knowledge is valid. So the knowledge validity is depend upon the verification principles, statement, experience and test. And test will help to the claims. What is moderate empiricism? Moderate empiricists, however, allow that there may be some cases in which the sense do not ground our knowledge, but hold that these are exception to a general rule. Means moderate empiricism says that the senses are not necessary for gaining the knowledge. So this says that the some knowledge is depend upon a reality. So for example, metaphysics or other ethical claims are depend upon the general knowledge and a general rule. The third type is pragmatism. The third new approach of epistemology. Pragmatism is the concept that will depend upon the action and thoughts. According to the William James and Johnny Davy believe that the value is used in the real test of truth is depend upon the idea and a test that are helpful for gaining a particular outcomes. Now I am conclude my overall lecture. Epistemology is a part of philosophy which engage in a questioning your deeply held belief and show you what can not be justified. Validity of knowledge is based on idea, experience and a function of knowledge. So this means that the knowledge is come through experience, sense of experience and through the justification. So the justification is depend upon the belief depend upon the truth, and truth is require a strong evidence. Thank you for watching.